We are the champion, my friend. We keep on fighting to the end. Next naman. Everybody wants to win. No one wants to become a failure or a loser. If you want to increase your chances of winning, you gotta watch this. Tune in, don't tune out.
Videos that will make you wealthy and debt-free.
Hi there, this is Chinkee Tan, also known as Mr. Chink Positive. Thank you very much for subscribing and watching this channel. If you haven't subscribed, don't forget to click the subscribe and don't forget to click the bell button. Sama nyo na pati yung all bago po tayo mag-umpisa. Naku, napaka-roke ako nung kanina. Okay ba? Pumasa ba? Ang pag-uusapan po natin in winning and losing po right now. Okay, let's talk about winning. Naalala nyo pa ba nung bata pa tayo? Nung tapos naglalaro po tayo sa kalsada, naghati po yung team or sa school. Di ba? Saan ka sasali? Sa winning team or sa losing team? Definitely ang gusto mo sa malakas. Kasi ayaw mong matalo. Di ba? Everybody wants to be part of the winning team. So likewise in life, everybody wants to win. But the problem is this. In a game, there's always a winner and there's always a loser. So right now, in this session, in this course, I would like to share with you things that I've learned in life to become a winner. Kung gusto nyo maging winner, ito na po ang session para sa inyo. 8 must-have attitude to become a certified winner. Ito po yung natutunan ko over my 55 years of existence in this life. If you want to become a winner, number 1 you must possess is what we call as a positive mental attitude. Yes, PMA, hindi PMS, hindi post-mental syndrome. Ang ibig sabihin, positive mental attitude. Kailangan po yung mindset po natin, yung way of thinking po dapat natin positive. Diba? Maaliwalas. Hindi dapat negative. Why? You cannot have a positive output with a negative input. You cannot win in life with a defeated mindset. Tama? Tama. Kaya kung gusto nyo po magnegosyo, di ba? Kung gusto nyo mag-start ng business career, ano po yung unang pumapasok sa isipan nyo? Paano na ako malugi? Paano na ako mag-fail? Paano kung hindi ako matanggap? Paano kung ma-reject ako? Kung yan po ay, yan ang pumapasok, nauunahan na ka na po ng nega. O kaya hindi po kayo makapag-umpisa May mga ibang tao, panay, panay iniisip lang. Pero hindi makapag-umpisa kasi takot po mag-umpisa. That's the reason why if you want to succeed in life, remove the negative, replace it with the positive. Focus on the solution, not on the problem. That's number 1 attitude that you must have, the positive mental attitude. Second attitude, in order for us to become a certified winner, ang kailangan po ay tinatawag na attitude of flexibility. Yes. Kailangan po natin matutunan yan. One thing that I learned in life, the only thing that is permanent in this world is what? Change. So whatever happened to these following companies, or can you remember Kodak, yung nagpa-publish ng mga films, di ba? Nag-develop ng mga films. Wala na po. Pinalitan po sila ng digital camera, ng mga cellphone na po. Naalala nyo po yung mga Betamax, VHS, Laserdisc. Wala na po. Pinalitan na po sila ng Netflix. Naalala nyo ba yung kumpanyang Toys R Us? Ngayon po ay sarado na po. Noong 2018-17 or 18 sa Amerika. So, ano pong pumalit sa kanya? Di online gaming na po. Alam nyo, in the 21st century po, pag hindi po tayo flexible, alam nyo mangyari, if you refuse to change, you will become what? Extinct. Right now po, ang offline business po, wala na rin po. Lahat po ngayon, ang negosyo po ay nasa online na. Kaya it's very important for us to have the attitude of flexibility, and that's what I've learned in my 55 years of experience. Things that may exist before may not exist right now. The third attitude in order for us to become a certified winner, ano po yan? The attitude of gratitude. Importante po yan. Ito po yung natutunan ko talaga sa mga mentors ko, sa mga coaches ko talaga. Sinabi niya sa akin, lalo na ni Francis Kong, sabi niya, Chinkee, kahit ano mangyari sa buhay mo, wag kang magrereklamo. Good things, bad things, there's a purpose, there's a reason. Instead of questioning God, diba? Sinabi niya sa akin, why do bad things happen to you? Why don't you ask God, what are you trying to teach me in this situation? Ang galing talaga. So, kailangan po, when you say attitude of gratitude, kailangan maging thankful po tayo. Mag-focus po tayo sa mga bagay na meron po tayo. Huwag tayong mag-focus sa mga bagay na wala tayo. Huwag natin ikumpara ang ating sarili sa mga mas blessed sa atin, mas may mayaman sa atin, mas may kaya sa atin. Ikumpara natin ang ating sarili sa mga taong mas kapuspalad kaysa sa atin. Kasi pag kinumpare mo sa mga taong mas kapuspalad kaysa sa inyo, anong feeling mo? Feeling mo, grateful ka, thankful ka. You know what? Thankfulness will lead to what? Gratefulness. And gratefulness will lead to what we call as what? Happiness. Yan po kagandahan. Let's go to the fourth attitude that we must have in order for us to become a certified winner. Ano po yung fourth attitude? We got to have what we call as a winning attitude. Yes! Kailangan po, kung para tayong manalo sa buhay, di ba? Kailangan po yung attitude po natin, parating panalo. Mananalo ako. Parang sa basketball ba? Di ba? Kung maglalaro ka ng basketball, you do not play to avoid losing. Yung sana pagsalim, sana wag matalo. Lumabang ka pa. Dapat ang goal mo, sana manalo, di ba? Alam mo, one perfect example that really inspired me and motivated me when I was still in my teens, noong 1980s talaga, no other than Mr. Michael Jordan. Isang malaking motivation ko yun talaga. Hindi naman maging katulad niya, no? Pero yung attitude po niya of winning. Alam mo, nung pinapanood po ko yung life story niya, he said that he really hate losing. Ayaw niya talaga matalo. Para sa kanya, losing is not an option. Whenever natatatalo siya ng one game, alam mo, the following game, ang goal niya is to what? To get back. To have a revenge. Talagang gusto niya talagang pahirapan ang kalaban niya. So, that is what we call as a winning attitude. Ganun po rin dapat tayo sa buhay. Di ba? Pag tayo po ay, for example, nagko-compete po, dapat ang goal po natin ay manalo. Pag tayo po ay nag-uumpisa ng business, dapat kumita. Kung tayo po ay pumasok sa trabaho, matatanggap ako. Dapat yung attitude po natin winning. You cannot win in life, again, with a defeated attitude. Let's go to attitude number 5 in order for us to become a certified winner. The attitude of bouncing back. Naku, napakahalaga po nito, mga friends. Let us learn from the life of Manny Pacquiao. Si Manny Pacquiao po, natatandaan nyo po, naku, yung last match po nila ni Juan Manuel Marquez, napakasalimuot po. Natsambahan po siya ng last second, I think on the 6th or 7th round. Ano po nangyari? Tignan nyo, tulog! As in, tulog po siya. Pero ano po nangyari? Sinabi ko nga makikita natin talaga kung champion tong mamang to, kung makaka-recover sa defeat na ito naman. Knockout po siya. And truly enough, after that knockout, he won 7 more title after his loss to Juan Manuel Marquez. This is one thing that I've learned in life. Lesson that I've learned in life. It's not how hard you fall. It's how hard you bounce back. Di ba? Ikaw, my friends, ilang beses ka na bang bumaksak sa buhay? Ikaw ba ba ay lumalaban? On my personal end, I've failed so many times in my life. I failed my schooling. I failed grade 6 4 times. I never finished my college degree. But right now, look where I am. Nasa YouTube. Hindi, parang point ko lang, kailangan po, dapat po, attitude po natin is what? The attitude of bouncing back. Let's go to the 6th attitude in order for us to become a certified winner. The attitude of what? Faith. Napaka-importante po yan. Alam mo, personally, ako, hindi naman I'm trying to be religious, but I'm a very spiritual person because I do acknowledge apart from God, I am nothing. I cannot do anything. I cannot have this ability. I cannot have this gift if it wasn't for God. Kaya nga, nagpapasalamat talaga ako every single day. Yung attitude ko talaga, pag alam ko hindi ko kaya, nagde-depend talaga parati kay Lord. Before I even do this video, I prayed that God will give me the wisdom because I have the attitude of faith. Number 7 po, very important po. Very important in order for you to become a certified winner. One more attitude that I've learned in life is the attitude of serving others. You want to become successful? You want to become a winner? Kailangan tumulong ka sa iba. Alam mo, ito lang po, sino po sa inyo ang nakikinig at nanonood ngayon na gusto nyo talagang mabless? Mabless kayo ni Lord ng siksik, liglig at umaapaw. Lahat po tayo. Taas ang kamay. Let me tell you the truth about blessing. The purpose of blessing is not only for yourself. The purpose of blessing so that we can become a blessing to others. God wants to enrich us so that we can also enrich others. God wants to help us so that we can also help others. Kaya ang motto ko sa buhay, kung bakit ako ganun ka-passionate sa ginagawa ko, sa paggawa ng video, sa paggagawa ng mga materials, pagsusulat ng mga books, pag-share po ng ideas, because ang goal ko sa buhay is earn all you can, save all you can, and give all you can. Ang sarap ng pakiramdam pag nakakatulong ka sa kapwa. Okay, what are the 7 attitudes before we go on to the last? 7 attitudes po in order for us to become certified winner. Number 1 attitude is positive mental attitude. Dapat parating positive. Number 2, the attitude of flexibility. Kailangan po, must be willing to change and adapt. Number 3, the attitude of gratitude. Dapat matuto kang magpasalamat. The 4th is the winning attitude. Your goal in life is not to lose but to win. Number 5 po, the attitude of bouncing back. It doesn't really matter how many times you fail. What really matters, is how many times you pick yourself up. Number 6, the attitude of faith. Kailangan po may pananalig po tayo. Number 7, the attitude of serving others. It's not about us. It's all about helping others. And last but not the least, attitude. But before we do that, ako makikiusap. Like muna. Napakaseryoso. Kala mo like lang pala. Paki-like lang po para gumanda ranking po natin sa YouTube. Let's go to the 8th attitude in order for us to become a certified winner. Good learning attitude, or what we call as GLA. Ay, ito siguro ang pinakamagandang attitude na kailangan po natin na mag-aroon po. Alam mo, sa totoo lang ang mga taong good learning attitude, like for example, ako isa pong natutunan ko sa buhay, araw-araw I need to learn something. Araw-araw I need to learn how to upgrade because things that may work before may not work today. Ang mga good learning attitude, ano is characteristics? They are just like sponge. Kung ano sinasabi mo, tinatanggap, hindi nire-reject, hindi know it all, hindi siya yung alam ko na yan, alam ko na yan, alam ko na yan. Diba? May kakilala kayo pag nandun, alam ko na yan. Oo, tagal ko nang alam yan eh. O kung talagang matagal mo nang alam, dapat mayaman ka na, maginawa ka na, maunlad ka na, pero hanggang ngayon wala pa rin nangyayari kasi hindi mo pa alam o hindi mo pa ina-apply. Kaya yung mga GLA po, they always attend trainings. They always ask intelligent questions. They are willing to be corrected. They are humble. Diba? So, ask yourself right now, my friends, kung gusto mong maging isang certified winner, tanungin kita. Isa-isay natin. Itong 8. Check tayo, And be honest. Number 1, may positive mental attitude ka ba? O, check mo. May attitude of flexibility ka ba or very rigid ka? Ayaw mo magbago. Na-stress ka pag may bago. Number 3, do you have an attitude of gratitude? Mareklamo ka ba? O thankful ka? Do you have a winning attitude? Yung mindset mo, ay, mananalo ko, magiging successful to. Or, ika nga, losing attitude. Do you have an attitude of bouncing back? Number 6. Do you have an attitude of faith? Do you have an attitude of serving others? Diba? And do you have good learning attitude? So, check mo, ilan? Mag-grade tayo. If you answer 5 and above, ay, good news. Ibig sabihin yan, you are almost a certified winner. Almost. Papunta ka na dun. But if your answer is 4 and below, you still need to work harder. May gagawin ka pa. Marami ka pang aayusin. My question to you right now is, do you want to learn pa more in order for you to master your skills of becoming rich? If you say yes, may good news po ako sa inyo. I created a super channel called ChinkTV.com. Ano po tong Chink TV na ito? This is what we call as the Netflix of financial education. Ha? Meron ba nun? Yes. Dito po sa Chink TV na ito, lahat po mapapanood nyo po. Like for example, matutunan nyo how to start your own business, one negosyante. How to retire at 50 kung gusto nyo matuto mag-retire. How to invest in property, real estate 101. How to invest in the stock market 101. How to benta pa more. How to sell, benta pa more. How to start your networking business. Merong ano ko dyan, how I made my first million direct selling. Kung gusto nyo matuto naman on how to become a virtual assistant, paano ka to earn money from working, meron din po. So in other words, lahat po na kailangan nyo matutunan, nandito na po sa ChinkTV.com. Per course, okay, next question, Chinkee, may investment ba? Yes, per course po, it's 799 pesos per course. I have 14 courses there. If you want to watch all, more or less your investment will be around 11,000. However, may good news po ako para sa mga taong gusto talagang matuto. Meron po tayong tinatawag na all access. All access. So instead of investing 11,000 pesos, meron kaming 80% discount. 80% discount right now. All you need to do if you enroll at All Access is only 1,598. I will repeat again, 1,598. Yes, you heard it right. So if you want to enroll on the All Access at Chink TV, all you need to do is just type the word called All Access. Type the word called All Access right now inside your comment box. After this broadcast, I will send you the link so that you'll be able to enroll and register. I hope that you like this video. Please click like this video. And if you find this video worthwhile, please share it with your friends. Please share it with your teammates or your office mates or your downline or your partners so that they will be able also to learn. This is Chinkee Tan saying, to every problem, there's always a solution. If you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. Always. Chink positive. Thank you for watching. If you want to keep on growing and to stay inspired, subscribe and hit the bell button to get notified. Always. Chink positive.